One to Coffee Talk with Julie and Nate, episode 26 this week. Here we are. It's Monday morning in San Francisco area. And Julie, how you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you, Nate?
I am good. Now, last week we left off talking about you were going to dive into your program, and it was going to be in two parts.
Mm-hmm.
And so you finished up part one over this past week.
Well, yeah, it's actually 6 calls, so it's 3 and 3. So
Okay.
the first 3 is, in 1 week, and the second set of 3 starts tomorrow.
Nice.
And it's been amazing. I'm just so excited.
That's great. Yeah. And you have quite a few people on there, and
Yeah, it's a small group. I think there's 9
mhm.
plus. But wow, the questions and the energy and what these people, all of us, are changing. It's changing. You can just feel it. It's like changing the world.
That's a cool feeling.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Yeah. Changing the world.
And interestingly, the class would like to charge more. So this is the last time it's going to be at this bargain price.
Oh, can people still? So if people
Well,
buy the recordings,
before we start tomorrow, they can get the 3 recordings, listen to it, and join for the next 3.
oh, so this is sort of a last minute possibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you're listening and you would like to take the last of the less expensive classes with Julie, you have 24 hours.
Yeah.
So they can purchase the recordings from the first 3, and then they can get in on number 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
It's interesting. I had a conversation with my daughter yesterday, and she's never been in a relationship, so to speak. But she said the longest relationship I've been in, because people always ask her when she's starting to date people. And she said the longest relationship I've been in is 23 years, and it's with myself. And she said it's touch and go at times, but for the most part, we're pretty good. And
Yeah.
that's really what it all comes down to, is
Right.
really knowing who you are and knowing what works for you and being kind to you by not giving yourself up.
So
Goodness.
the first thing when I hear that is, I don't know that I would have had the wherewithal at that age to say that. When I was 23, I had no concept of that, number one. And number two, I'm trying to think what I would think if I met a girl who said, oh yeah, so my longest relationship has been with myself. Like,
Well, she's not saying that to them. She's saying that to me.
oh, I see. I thought this was like when she meets a guy and he's like, hey, so how's your relationship history? And she's like,
No, they
well,
say, what was your last relationship?
right.
And she's like, I never really had a relationship.
Right.
Because she didn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids these days, I don't know if it's because they grew up in my family and, they went through access and, all the access classes. Even before that, I mean, she was 6. So even before that, though, I just had a different way of being a parent and giving them choice.
Right. And I think a lot of it also has to do with the significance of relationship. Like, I know that here in Korea, it's like when you're single, generally it's like a sad thing. Someone says, "Hey, do you have a boyfriend?" You're like, "No, I don't have a boyfriend." Like it's this sort of,
Ah,
yeah, because there's a significance to like being in the relationship, and some people prefer to be in a mediocre relationship to being single simply because if you're in a relationship that's more societally approved,
Boyfriend, you're
right?
like, no, I don't have a
Yeah.
boyfriend.
oops, sorry.
It's all right.
Cindy's on. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
I just saw that there were some comments. So,
Oh, I should probably get on there as well.
people are sad because they don't have a boyfriend. Are guys sad because they don't have a girlfriend?
Yeah, kind of. Like, this is especially with the kind of university age, because they finished high school and now it's time to start your dating life.
Vivian saying she's happy being single.
A lot of people are. Yeah.
Me too. My goodness. Especially during COVID.
You don't want to be stuck with anybody?
No, I mean, it would be nice to be able to meet people a little easier, but I'm just happy that I've had all this time to dig into what's true for me,
Has that been going well?
It would be nice to, yeah.
I just logged on so I can also check
Yeah.
out the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vivian's here, Cindy's here. What was I gonna say? Oh, but then it's interesting because at the younger ages, sort of like you're out of high school, you should start dating, and if you don't have one, then oh, that's too bad. But then as they kind of get a couple of relationships under their belt, there are some of them who prefer to be single, but they just don't advertise it. But if you ask them, like I've had lots of conversations and these girls are like, "Oh no, I'm very happy to not have a boyfriend." But then when you get up into like 30, early 30s, then suddenly there's this pressure again of like, what are you doing with your life? You're single. Like it's just
they're probably enjoying it.
Yeah, generally speaking. But there's a lot of pressure about that, the significance of it. So I was thinking like there is still that significance culturally in the US, but when you grow up in your household, I mean, there's a lot less pressure. So you don't feel like, oh no, I'm 20. Why haven't I had a boyfriend yet? Right. So yeah, very cool. Nice job, Mom.
It was all their choice, all they're doing. They probably saw the mess I made. You're like, oops, I don't want to do that. No, and I know that they've had crushes on people.
Sure.
But it's really cool to see that they know themselves and they honor themselves and they trust themselves. Oh my gosh, that's the elements of intimacy. They have it. Honor, trust, allowance, gratitude, vulnerability. Wow, that's cool. Ruth is here too. She says it's also nice to have someone to cuddle up and have sex. Yes, of course. Of course. But how many couples do you know that, number one, if they've been in a longer term relationship, don't have sex anymore? And then you can't have sex with other people either. So you're basically just, stuck.
You're single with less options.
No, you're married.
Well, right, but I mean,
you're married, so therefore you are unavailable, but they don't want you either. Or you don't want them.
There was one, I went out for drinks. This is a little bit of a side note, but you just reminded me, with a Korean guy one time, and he said he was married, but he has an MBA. And he's like, Nate, you know what that is, right? I was like, an
What's that?
MBA. He means married but available.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, what?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've never
So
heard
that's what I
married.
mean, who knows what Koreans do with the English acronyms and things.
Mm.
So he thought that was hugely entertaining. And he
Well,
really
there's this ethically non-monogamous thing that people talk about. And I have to say, you can almost pick them out. Like if you were to go online and look at people's photos, a lot of the people who have photos, they look dead. You know, they have no energy in their life, in their eyes. It's just, they're just dead. And
wow.
the ones that are ethically non-monogamous, they have a little zippy spark, but they're already taken. And
Mhm.
from the way they describe it, it's 90% is there, and then they have this 10% that they can go play with and like keep their life exciting, which sounds kind of cool, but do you really want to be somebody's 10%?
This is yeah. I haven't been looking at any kind of apps and photos and stuff. So the majority of people look just dead.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
And these are people who are supposedly single looking for a relationship.
Relationship or dating or friends with benefits or one night stand, you know, it's the gamut. um, some people are um, God, it's so weird. Some people are like, they're just out of something or they're separated, they're not even divorced yet, and they're already looking for something because, you know, the thought of being alone and being by yourself
Right.
is threatening. It's so interesting.
It also could be the excitement of finally being free and they really want to jump on it as soon as possible. No? Okay.
Well,
Sorry.
maybe I'll show you the app someday from my viewpoint so you can
Yeah.
see and you'll get it. Because like I mostly do this for research to hone awareness and to show people how they can have their awareness too with looking for these things. And
Hmm.
it's you can really tell. Like I went out with somebody last week that I really got specific about what I could perceive about what their personality was and what they would be like and all of that. And I said to my daughter, just so we can be clear, like this is what I get. He's going to be this. And I spelled it all out and I said, let's see what happens. I was all excited to go and see, you know, am I correct? Am I way off? Who knows? Uh,
Right.
and oh my gosh, so spot on.
And this was from his picture and description?
Mhm. Yeah, and a few, you know, conversations back and forth, but not much. And I just
Right.
thought, oh, this will be a fun experiment. Let's see. So actually, I'm gonna do a online dating one-off intro class to
So,
people to know what they know.
yeah, I would say also, I mean, you said most people are looking dead, and I assume these are mostly men. Also, guys are just terrible at taking photos and choosing photos. I mean, you could probably go and do an entire like one-off coaching class for how to make an attractive profile as a man. Like a lot
Yeah,
of guys are just straight up clueless. They have no idea.
yeah. There's
Like,
actually
oh,
somebody who does photos with people to you know help them create that,
right.
and that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ruth is saying that you haven't been married. No, he is married, actually, Ruth. He's just, he's
I can see
been
he
in
hasn't.
access for a while and he's like alive again. I mean, now who knows about the younger guys, like the, you know, 30s and down, because
Are you setting age limits on this?
yeah, I leave a window because I told my kids I wouldn't date anybody within 10 years of them because they were they were like, don't. All right.
Within 10 years?
Mm.
Wow. So, all right.
33 and up.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say like maybe 30, but
But
33.
30, I don't know. I think 35 at least. I don't know. They're just such babies.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You kind of want somebody to know a little something.
Did you set an upper limit?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. Like,
I should have it way lower than it is. I don't know. It's so funny. Ruth likes the curiosity of your questions.
it's fascinating though to me. Like, because I have these classes once a week with I mean, it's so far it's been all girls, and they're
Okay,
generally
I'm
like,
not limiting. She's like, are you limiting? No, there's just so many. You have to kind of, you know, corral it a little bit. And I change it here and there. Anyway.
I just went 3 different places. Last year there was a guy in Amsterdam, and he went and approached the government and said he wanted to change his age officially because he self-identified as 20 years younger. So there was like there's all these people who are self-identifying as like men and women and whatever, and he's like, well, I self-identify as 20 years younger.
I self-identify as 20 years younger too.
Right. So he went in to get his age officially changed to younger, and they were like, what?
Did it work? Can he do it?
Well, he didn't do it, but the amount of press that he got was ridiculous. And so his goal was like meeting people, and his comment was that just reminded me was he's on a dating app and he put his real age. And so women who have put like an upper cap, he's never meeting them.
Yeah.
So he's only meeting women who are like in his same age range, and those are not the women he's interested in at all, because he's more vivacious and energetic, and he's not whatever.
So that's why there's a lot of people who write a different age for their age, and then in the text, some of them say, I'm actually this, not that.
Right.
And some of them don't even say that, but you can just tell that they've written the wrong age.
And like, there's no way you're 35. It's not even close.
I put my age down too because nobody believes what my age is.
Right. Yeah.
And you have to use your awareness if you're going to tell the person or not, because some people just get really upset with it.
Yeah.
That you lied. Oh my gosh, the amount of people who write no drama and they're so dramatic. And the people who are like, don't lie. It's like they're constantly lying. It's just so funny.
I can imagine that the people who write no drama are the people who are the most dramatic. Like that should be an indication of maybe they're, yeah. And I guess they're aware of it because it simply means they've been in so many dramatic relationships that they're like, I don't want that again, but that's all that they bring. So
yeah, and please look like your photos. Usually people tell me that I look better than my photos in person, which is
well, that's nice. Yeah.
But apparently some people do not.
Yeah, there's a lot of photo manipulation going on.
Yeah.
Huh. I tried to explain a couple times why a blind date is called a blind date. And for anyone under 30, it's almost unheard of to meet someone you've not seen a picture of. Right? Like, if your coworker is going to introduce you to somebody, they're like, oh, let me see a picture. Like, it's just, and you're like, oh no, he has a great personality. Yeah, let me see his photo. Like, so, huh. Fascinating. So you're checking this out for research for yours, and you're going to do a one-off class about, what is this going to be about?
Probably magic or something with online dating, or the secrets to online dating with ease. I don't know. Just I know that so many people have an issue with it, and there's so many people who won't even do it, and it's like, okay, fine, but if you want to, and you don't want to be taken advantage of or put yourself in a position where you're not comfortable. Like you have to use your awareness,
Mhm.
and using the access tools for awareness with online dating, it's just like so much easier than you think.
Interesting. Hmm.
Well, the lawnmower guy is here. Can you hear that?
A little bit. Yeah.
They always start Monday morning right here.
Yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of, not a lot, but periodically when we do this, you have somebody doing something outside, banging
Yeah,
away or
I
doing
know.
some
Let me
sort of.
close the window.
Cindy says you're so youthful. Is Cindy
Aw, thanks, Cindy.
talking about Julie or talking about Cindy?
Well, she is too.
Right, that's why I say.
Once you start doing access, you become ageless, and because time isn't real, it's like
Right.
you're timeless and ageless.
Another really interesting thing for me to notice is, like, as you age, you sort of wear your judgments on your face and your points of view, and it's not just about. I think I talked about this before with my dad and his frowning all the time. Yeah, so I tell people how old I am, and many times they're surprised or they're embarrassed that they're actually younger than me when they thought they were older than me. Like, so yeah, access has been. I just
Yeah.
listened to a class with Gary today when he talked about that. He said there was someone who took access for a while and then quit for several years, but then met some people who had continued to do access, and he's like, wow, they look so much younger. So he's like, I got to start taking classes again. um, yeah, get your bars done, get some body processes done.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some people who I used to do classes with, and they quit, and wow, like you sort of feel like you got off the rotation of time or something, and but they stayed on it.
Right.
And I don't know, I see them, and I'm just totally amazed. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. Energetic.
Also, I've had people, they'll see photos of me from years ago and they're like, oh man, you look so much better now. Like, oh, thank you.
But and you know, it's because you're allowing your being to come out and shine through all the molecules of your body.
Right.
It's not, you know, it's not this outside inward, it's this inward outside,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. It's one of the great side benefits. I mean, I don't think people generally take access to look better and younger, but
Hmm.
that's one of the great side
Terrible
effects.
side effect you may have to endure.
Yeah, definitely. And I was just thinking, like, a lot of the people that we've known through the years of classes, I don't know how old anybody is really. Like, I've never really cared, and they're still generally super fun. And I mean, that's another thing I think is the lack of seriousness, because in this reality, when you get older, you're supposed to not really have fun. And when you have fun, it's supposed to be scheduled, like living for the weekend or Miller time or those kind of things, and
Mm-hmm.
instead of being able to have fun on a Wednesday morning, you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to wait until Friday night, or when you go out on the boat on Saturday, or whatever the approved times for fun are. And even then, you're still judging it like, is it the right kind of fun? Am I having the fun I'm supposed to? Is it enough fun that I can tell everybody on Monday? Like, it just gets silly.
You know, it's so true. I haven't thought about that for years, but I remember when I worked in a office building like years and years ago. Um, and I used to have I used to think about that on Sunday afternoons, like, what am I gonna tell the people in the office? Because like, I didn't watch all the stupid TV shows that they did, and I didn't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I'd, like, have to think about, "Oh, I could say this."
And
I went for a
like
bike ride. Uh,
pre-planning conversations. It's like,
yeah,
wow.
yep. Wow, I forgot that I used to do that. That's really amazing.
Yeah. But not being serious, like I see so many people and they just the way that they talk about topics and they're just so serious about it and they don't and they want me to be serious. And I'm just like, oh, all right.
Mhm.
And it just doesn't really work for them, especially now with the virus. And then, you know, whatever the government's doing is always wrong, whichever way you think they're not doing enough or they're doing it the wrong way or whatever. And just like, ugh, think about what your face is going to look like if you think it's so serious all the time. Like, just ugh. I don't care how many cosmetics you wear and how much certain like just
But
it's
that's
not.
why people do Botox.
I know,
But
but
we
then I
have
can't
something
go like
different.
this,
Yeah, we have something different, so you don't look like an alien. An
right?
energetic facelift, which is quite amazing. It doesn't just work on your face, it works on your whole body,
Yeah,
and it's
it
awesome.
does. I'm supposed to have a facelift class coming up here. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, yeah? You're allowed to gather in person?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no. Sorry, I kind of forget about that. Yes, we can gather in person. I'm
Now,
not sure if
how
there's a
is it
limit,
that
but
your country is okay and ours is so fucked up?
it's a bit
What's
of a
going
trash fire.
on?
What's going on? Well, I would say one of the main differences is that people don't um, react to the government simply on principle. I mean, a lot of Americans are just anti the government, whatever the government says. So the government could say like drinking 8 glasses of water is good for you, and there are people like, I don't want to drink that, or I mean that's what it appears to me. And for better or worse, people here generally will kind of follow along because it's a more corporate mentality instead of an individual mentality. So
So what did
like,
you guys do?
well, I mean,
You
two
quarantined.
week well, there's a 2 week quarantine on anybody coming into the country. Testing is really inexpensive and all over the place. I mean, I was tested for free when I came into the country at the beginning and the end of my quarantine. Um, they're just like super good with it. Like now, when you go to anywhere, you have to check in your name and your phone number. There's a QR code on your phone. They check your QR code. So if anything happens anywhere, they immediately know who was there, where they've been from there. Like it's contact tracing. Like you can be fined for not wearing masks on public transportation. It's just, yeah, I guess that's what it's been.
And it's non-threatening now, like there's no cases or
Well, there are a couple cases. They're mostly imported people coming in. Sailors, I think there's sailors on a ship a couple days ago that had it, and then
because I
um,
mean, if it's airborne, they were saying that it doesn't just come in on airplanes with people. It
sure. Well, it's not flying over from China either. Um, yeah, I think it's just mostly been wearing a lot of masks and like not. I mean, churches have been basically canceled. Like you had to. There were some churches that were outside yesterday. You could see people gathering in parks and things. Um, but baseball stadiums, concerts, any of that stuff is essentially canceled. Um, Universities haven't been going to class for 6 months now.
well,
Um, so it's also a much smaller population to manage in a much smaller area. I mean, South Korea is smaller than Indiana with 53 million people. So it's just, um, It's just a very different situation.
Oh my goodness,
I think you gotta
past
go.
time. Yes. Well,
Yes.
maybe
I'll
maybe
talk
our
to you again next week.
learn something from
And
your.
I'll research a little bit more next week and see if I can give you some more kind of facts and figures currently. I mean, there was a bit of a big up spike. For here, it was a big up spike like 2 weeks ago. And so they really cranked down on classes and meetings and stuff, but it's settled down now. Anyway, you gotta go. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I was super excited to see everybody. I wish I could like read comments and talk and be more, I gotta work on that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So yeah, see you next week. And if anybody wants to hop over to the Expand Space to Unwind group, I will see you there in a minute.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.